speech will be by Peter Fordham, Pete Fordham, and his speech objectives will be given from his seat by Brendan O'Brien. Brendan?
Yes, so this title, School Days, is out of the manual speech. I don't think I need that. It's called School Days, and his personal objectives are to entertain the audience and to use no notes. And I was looking for general aspects of speech, such as body language, eye contact, structure of the speech, engagement with the audience, and all those little factors. I'll try to fill the 4 to 5 minutes that I have to evaluate them. But I'm looking forward to it.
Dave.
Thank you, Peter. So, when I was in high school, I went to a private school in Belmont called Belmont Hill. I went there for 6 years. It was an all-boys school. And it was a small school. In my graduating class, there were 80 people. And when I started there in 7th grade, there were 40. So you knew everybody, and they knew you. And when I first arrived, they used to say that every boy that went to school there had gone to college, 100%. And the school had been open about 80 years. There are a couple of people in my class of 80, there are a couple of people you might know. One is General Mark Milley. He's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of the United States. He's the highest ranking military officer in the country. I see him on TV all the time. He usually looks very unhappy these days. And the other, has anyone heard of Honest Tea? Have you ever seen Honest Tea in the grocery store? Well, next time you go in the food and the drink aisle, Honest Tea, Barry Nailbuff, my classmate, was one of the 2 founders of Honest Tea, which was, I think, sold to Coke or Pepsi for a lot of money. But I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about 2 other members of my class, and I'm just going to use their first names, and these are not real names. One, and you'll know why in a minute. One is Oscar, and one is Ronnie. So Oscar and I went to school together for 6 years. Oscar was from South America, and he got a full scholarship for 6 years, which was like gold. One of the teachers had given him a scholarship and was paying for him for the entire 6 years. Oscar and I were friends, though we didn't know each other outside of school. But in a small school, we had classes together, we played sports together. You know, we would talk and smile if we saw each other, that kind of thing. So, and Oscar and I graduated together. So fast forward, this is the class of 76, so it's give me some perspective of timing. So fast forward about 5 years. And I'm with a friend of mine. We've gone out on a Friday or Saturday night, and we went back to his house, a really close friend of mine, and we turned on the TV, just for some background noise. We really weren't watching TV, but it was a little before 11 o'clock, and I was talking to my friend, and the news came on, and they gave one of those prelims where they said, Colombian drug bust, state policeman shot, news at 11. I really wasn't thinking of it. My chair, I just happened to see this and think of this because my chair was looking right at the TV and I was talking to my friend. And a few minutes go by and they do the story. And they show the drug bust and I'm sitting down and I go, oh my God, it's Oscar. So Oscar was a Colombian drug lord, this is true, lived in Wilmington. The police, state police, FBI, and local police came to arrest him. He was upstairs in his house, and he stood at the top of the stairs with a gun in each hand and fired down the stairs at the police. And he hit one of the state policemen. He tried to hit everybody else, but he hit one of the state policemen. He didn't kill him, but he injured him. So he was finally arrested after a gun battle. And if you ever wonder what happens when you've just shot a state policeman and they have to get you to the state police barracks, I can tell you, because they beat the you-know-what out of him on the way from there to the state police barracks. He arrived at the barracks, had bruises all over his body. So he then went to court. He got 25 years in Walpole, which at the time was the toughest state prison we had. I might still be, I don't know. But he got to Walpole, and on day one, when he was arriving at the prison, and he was met by the prison guards as he was taken out of the van and handcuffs and brought into the prison. And the prison guards are standing there, and he looks up, and it's Ronnie. And he starts to talk. And Ronnie goes, no. He probably just shook his head. And later on, he took Oscar aside, and he said, if they know you're friendly with a guard, they will kill you. So the entire time you're here, you can never talk to me, ever, because they will kill you. So in the entire time that he was at Walpole, which was years, he never talked to Ronnie. So how does this story end? He served his time. He was deported back to Columbia, where he went to college, and that's the last I know. So how do I know? And so he was a very insidious person, Oscar. I had no idea. We were friendly, had classes together, sports together, etc. I had no idea that he was like this. So how do I know this story? Well, it comes from another classmate of ours named Rich. And Rich said that he was heading to a meeting in his car. He must have been going too fast, and the lights, the police stopped him, and the policeman was walking up to the car, and all he saw were these mirrored sunglasses walking up to the car. This guy with these mirrored sunglasses. Turned out it was Ronnie. Ronnie had become a local policeman and had stopped him for speeding. He didn't get a ticket, but he got 30 minutes of what the heck happened at Walpole with Oscar and Ronnie. So that's the first story. The second story came from college. And by the way, I forgot one thing. So remember I said that when I started, everybody at Belmont Hill had gone to college. So we kind of joked about it, and we said, friends of mine and me, said, they used to be able to say that everybody went to an institution of higher learning. After Oscar and Ronnie, all they can say is that they went to an institution. I saw that coming.
Yeah,
I gotta set that up better. So, next story comes from college. And I went to college in Cambridge, and we lived in this is sophomore year, we lived in a 10-man suite. And if any of you have ever seen the movie Love Story with Ryan O'Neal and Ellie McGraw, there's a scene at the beginning where they have a meal in a Radcliffe dining hall. That dining hall became my room in real life. That's what I'm told. So if you ever see that movie and you see that dining hall, that became my room. So it was a 10-man suite. There were 2 chunks to it. The first part had 6 rooms, and the back part had 4 rooms. And we had a big party. And everybody had a lot of fun. And the party went on for a while. And after the party, we were cleaning up. And I walked from the front section of the room to the back section of the room, and I found my roommate Tom passed out on the floor. He was lying on the floor. And I tried to get him up, and I couldn't. I couldn't rouse him at all. And I was getting worried about him because I couldn't tell if he was breathing. So I went to my roommates. Remember, it's a 10-man suite, so there were a bunch of us. And a few of the roommates were pre-med. Not doctors, but pre-med. And I said, what do you think? I mean, I can't tell if he's breathing or not. I can't tell if he's in serious trouble or not, but he doesn't seem to be breathing. All the roommates walked over, and everybody agreed, we don't think he's breathing. But everybody also agreed they weren't going to call 911 because they didn't want to get in trouble. Now, I was worried about my friend Tom, so I decided that I would call 911. And by the way, never ask pre-med people about medical questions. They don't know anything. It's only when they become a doctor they know something. So I call 911, and I walk outside to be able to show the first responders where to go. And I'll never forget that when I walked outside, and I was on the first floor, our suite was on the first floor, so it didn't take long for me to get outside. 30 seconds maybe. Within the first 30 seconds I was standing outside. There were sirens coming from all 4 directions. We had Harvard police, we had Cambridge police, we had Cambridge Fire, we had an ambulance, we had everything. And they ran up and they said, "Where do we go?" And I showed them and brought them into my room, and they looked at Tom, they put him on a gurney, and they rolled him outside. And just as they just strapped him in on the gurney on the stretcher, and they're putting him into the ambulance, and at that moment his eyes pop open, and he said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "We're taking you to the emergency room." He goes, "Well, I don't want to go." And they said, "Well, we have to take you to make sure you're okay. It's not a choice at this point." And he looked up at me, because I'm standing above him. He looked up at me and he said, "What did you do?" Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Now we have the evaluation for Aileen.